Hi guys, welcome to People in Court. Sorry I'm late. I don't really have an excuse other than the usual, but I saw there's 3 new members. Shalom. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. Richard Harrison, thanks. And Fraud at Wrangler. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry. I feel even worse that I'm late now. It's so good to see you guys. I have a good I have a good call for you from a judge that I really like. I'm sure you guys have heard of him before. He's not anything new, but it's Judge Coretti, Michigan judge, Macomb County. He's a little bit grumpy and a lot of fun. Well, I mean, not if you're in front of him, like as a defendant, but for people like us who like watching court. Let's get started, and then I'll come back and say some more stuff like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Hey Beers, hey Allie B, Afix, Harmony, who else? Colin, isn't it past your bedtime? I feel like you go to bed early, but I realized you were from way far away and not like from Central Time. I hope I didn't just dox you. Hayden Harris. Okay. MB. Hi. CYP. Old Squishy was here. Okay. All right. Here we go. This is from a while back. I believe, I want to say back in February. I remember watching it at the time. I haven't seen it in a while, and I hope you guys like it. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm assuming you can because nobody's saying muted yet. But let me know. Give me like a thumbs up in the chat as soon as you can hear the stream. Okay, play.
Okay. Who do I have using the iPhone that just joined Zoom that's not named?
Dobby Bacon.
Thank you.
I have a quick question. Hello.
How do I make myself smaller?
Is it for your attorney? Because you have to call your attorney.
No, it's for the courts, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. So it says that this hearing is to be live streamed.
Okay.
And I've been having some issues with my ex harassing me about my court dates, and telling me he's paid $3,500 for lawyers to come up to my court dates to make sure that I go to jail and things like that. Is it possible that I could just dial in maybe?
I mean, you are dialed in, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
court's an open forum, live streamed. This is also on YouTube, I believe, and that's because court's an open forum and anybody can watch.
Okay, thank you, Shalom. Hey, Brandon. Just for like a little bit of context, the guy's voice who you're hearing right now is, it's the prosecutor. The lady, Colin, don't you dare mess with me. Make me think my audio is broken. Okay. Oh, what was I saying? I'm gonna get you back. Okay, the guy whose voice you just heard, you're such a troll. That's the prosecutor, and the lady who is calling in is a defendant. So I don't know, kind of weird. Not weird, but there's usually not a lot of crosstalk between prosecutors and defendants, like directly. At least in the courts I watch. All right, let's continue.
Well,
Including,
with all due respect, if it wasn't on YouTube and live streamed, then only the people that were willing to show up to the court itself could watch.
Correct. And anyone can come to court to watch. So if you're, I didn't hear what you said, ex-husband or something, paid attorneys to show up to court, they would be allowed to sit in the courtroom. So court's an open forum. There's nothing that I can do or the clerk can do. In fact, it has to be on YouTube if the courtroom is not open.
Well, I mean, isn't it in my rights to not have it,
No,
you know,
no,
YouTube
it's not.
us to the whole world?
No,
I mean, oh, okay. And you said there's no way I can dial in without video?
that's up to the judge. Me personally, I don't care if you're on video or not. You are dialed in because you're talking to me, but
I mean, it's not only that, but he's been giving me problems with, we have a small child in common who is 3.
yeah, I know.
Problems. I'm sorry, what was your name?
I'm Anthony Sorrentino. You probably want to direct all your questions to your attorney going forward. I was just letting you know about the streaming of the court.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. And have you been in contact with Mr. Millenbach, Mr. Sorrentino?
No more questions addressed to me. I'm not your attorney. You shouldn't be talking to me. And yes,
Yep.
I have.
And for what reason?
None of your business.
Well, I'm glad this is recorded.
Your attorney can call me and discuss, actually, in fact, he already did. Called me to discuss with me this morning. You can get any information that you need regarding the case and our discussions from him.
Well, is there some legal reasoning that you need to?
Ma'am, I'm
in
going to
contact
interrupt.
with
This is
my
the
ex?
court. You need to address these concerns to your attorney, and your attorney can bring them up to court.
The reason
Okay,
is this
thank
is
you.
the United
You're
States
welcome.
of America and you're a defendant. The prosecutor should not be discussing the case with the defendant when they are represented by counsel.
Okay, but the prosecutor should be discussing the case with the defendant's ex, who is the father of their 3-year-old child.
Mr. Noonan, will you instruct your client to stop addressing questions to me regarding the case?
Well, you just
Anthony,
continue to speak with me.
Anthony, you and I are going to meet soon and we'll cover these topics when we meet. And if you've got an objection, you can raise it. Is that fair enough to end this discussion for now?
I would just say that the only thing I discussed with your client was whether or not this needed to be broadcast, which it does. And obviously, counsel, you know that court's an open forum. And she asked me a question whether I had spoken to Patrick Millenbach, and I answered yes, because I have. But besides that, there's been no conversations between the client and myself that you would have any objection to, correct?
Well, look, I don't have any objection to the questions that she asked or your answers.
Good morning, Francesca.
Good morning, Judge. Deputy, can I have Speller, please?
Okay, so that one made me do a double take because, I mean, like he said, and he did a little CYA at the end by getting that, if not on the record, at least on recording. I mean, if you notice, he kind of like switched to that official tone saying, just by the way, you were totally fine with this. You don't object to it. Okay, Colin, the people who are talking there was a defendant who called in and totally should have said this before it started, but I was late and I was freaking out. I mean, not freaking out, but I was like a little bit freaking out and trying to pretend like I was cool. But I wasn't. I was nervous. But the defendant called in. Her lawyer wasn't on the call yet, and she threw out a question asking if by any chance she could just call in and not be on and not have her case showed on YouTube because she was having problems with her ex-husband who threatened to hire lawyers to come in and make sure she went in jail. I mean, you know how family court is. You guys all watch family court. I mean, he started having a back and forth with her, which is not, I don't want to call it unethical because he didn't really do anything wrong, but it's definitely not typical. I don't know if it's unethical. I'm not an expert. I'm definitely not a legal expert. But anyway, Judge just got here, Judge Coretti, and he's cranky. I like him. And this is actually, the whole entire call is pretty good, especially the one at the end. So I'm going to keep playing and stop talking. I see a lot of friends here who also have channels. Colin, Fraudit, Wrangler, Old Squishy. I feel like I'm missing people, but T-Rex, mods know what to do. Hey, Duke, if you don't mind, sending out their links so people know where to go. Also join my Discord if you want to. It's a lot of fun. We went in there the other night and I screened some videos that I haven't released yet. And there were like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of us in there, and we had a lot of fun for an hour or two. I may or may not have fallen asleep and stayed in there all night, but okay, back to the court.
Judge, in the meantime, I can call People versus Charbonneau, time and date for a walk-in on a probation violation.
Anthony Sorrentino appearing on behalf of the people.
The defender appearing, Francesca.
Okay, at least I realized that I was muted and I said the bad word before I unmuted. But all I was saying was that that's the guy who was talking at the beginning of the clip. Box on the bottom left, that's Prosecutor Sorrentino. He's the one who was talking in that first exchange between him and the defendant. Very unconventional, very memorable to me. And like I said, this was back in February. So I hope this is new to you guys. If you guys have seen it and it's something that's been out there and around, please stop me and I can find something else. But for now, I'm going to hit play.
Yes, Mr. Jungle needs to unmute, please.
Oh, I'm in Cole County Jail still.
Timothy Yang on behalf of the defendant for purposes of arraignment, Your Honor.
Have you advised your client of the nature of the warrants?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd waive formal reading. My client will stand mute, ask the court to enter a not guilty plea on her behalf. She's also requesting court-appointed counsel for the violation hearing.
All right, give me a moment.
Your Honor, my client.
Hold on. Court will enter a plea of not guilty. Why didn't your client report to probation, counsel?
Your Honor, she stated she was in Sacred Heart. She thought Sacred Heart was going to communicate that to her probation officer. She left Sacred Heart on Tuesday. She's now in a 3-quarter living house in Caro, and she's on SSI. She thought there's been some miscommunication.
All right. I'll refer to defender for appointment of counsel. I'll set it for a hearing on
Judge, could we waive 14 days on this case?
counsel.
Ms. Charbonneau, would you waive the 14-day requirement? You'll just have the hearing a little bit after the 14 days.
Yes, that's fine.
February 14th at 9:30.
All right, in light of her voluntary appearance here today, I will set her bond at $5,000 personal.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Judge, the court can call People versus Speller, time and date for pretrial motion.
Anthony Sorrentino appearing on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Judge Adele Haradwala, P40095, appearing on behalf of Desmond Speller, who's joining us by Zoom, and we both waive our appearance in the courtroom. Your Honor, as far as the motion to quash or the motion to reduce the charge to aggravated assault is concerned, I have prepared a motion and a detailed brief. I will just basically touch upon the main points. Your Honor, on that particular day in the city of Warren, Mr. Speller was grieving along with his cousins at a home where the cousin's father had passed away. They had all consumed copious quantities of alcohol as well as marijuana for several hours prior to the funeral date. Thereafter, Your Honor, that alcohol and marijuana caused talk, which the complainant called as trashy talk, and she accused him of being a homosexual.
Judge,
Y'all, I love this lawyer. I love how he says marijuana. I think he's great. I know, MB. I do it all the time. You're not alone.
Judge, that's not in the
Hold on,
transcript.
Mr. Advala. What are you interrupting for, Ms. Sorrentino?
At that point, so you're limited to the four corners of the transcript. At that point during the preliminary exam.
Hold on, well, go ahead, finish your thought. I mean.
That information did not come out in the exam. That's his
All right,
opinion.
so that's an objection. I'll allow it. Go ahead, Mr. Advala.
And that judge is on page 16 and page 17 of the transcript. It was about 2 a.m. when the incident occurred. At that point of time, and now I'm going to just read 2 sentences from the transcript, page 18. So he basically got up, went into the kitchen very irate. He said he wanted to kill someone, pulled out a steak knife. He pointed it at the complainant while he was in the kitchen and she was in the living room. And then it says, so when he threatened you with the knife, he was in the kitchen and you were in the living room, right? The witness said yes. Did he then put the knife away in the kitchen and approach you? And the witness said yes. That's on page 19 of the transcript. Was anything more said that would have enraged him? He said, I risked his life for coming up there with me for my situation with the father, the whole situation with my brother. I think that's how it escalated, him choking me. He then wrestles her to the ground, starts, so to speak, strangling her. She suffers bruises. The police arrive a little later after he has left. And Your Honor, she says she doesn't need any medical attention. With that all being said, Your Honor, this is really a case of domestic violence and at worst aggravated assault, and I would ask the court to so find.
What about the knife, Mr. Advala?
They're not asking to quash the dangerous weapon. If you look at the face sheet, it's a motion to quash the charge of great bodily harm. And I'm prepared to address that. His motion and brief both state motion to reduce the charge of assault with intent to commit great bodily harm and motion to quash the charge of great bodily harm. It's specifically the motion itself says that's the only charge they're looking at. And I'm prepared to respond.
Go ahead.
Judge, if you look at the information itself, well, first of all, great bodily harm doesn't require an injury, but that's not what the information reads. The information reads, assault with intent to do great bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation. Did make an assault upon Teresa Smith by strangulation or suffocation. Counsel just stated that the testimony at the exam was that she was strangled by the defendant. I'm looking at the transcript. She says that she was strangled 2 times, page 7, and then she was strangled again, I believe page 9. It indicates that she was strangled. Where was she grabbed? On my throat. On page 11, it indicates, how did you feel? I lost conscious. I think she meant consciousness. Judge, the information itself, so I guess they maybe misread the count and they stopped at assault to do great bodily harm. The charge itself is strangulation. Clearly, based on the testimony at the exam, the victim was strangled. She had his defendant's hands wrapped around her throat. She was strangled 2 separate occasions, and she indicated that she lost consciousness. And I think counsel indicated there were minor injuries. I believe those injuries, I think she indicated they were around her neck or her throat, which would be indicative of being strangled. So, with that all being said, the
All
testimony.
right, I have a good understanding of the facts and what the magistrate's decision was based on. You're only moving to reduce great bodily harm or strangulation, right? You're not addressing the ADW, Mr. Hardballa?
No, Judge, I'm not addressing that because clearly he was in the kitchen with a knife. And even
Alright.
though there was a distance of 10 to 15 feet, that would still constitute an assault, at least for probable cause purposes.
Right, I agree. And the testimony, I think, is clear and compelling. He attacked her, he strangled her, she had bruises. It clearly meets the elements of count one. Your motion's denied.
So-
Diane, hold on.
Judge,
Diane,
Yes, Judge.
send Sorrentino and Hardballa and I to a breakout room, but
Okay.
wait until after Mr. Sorrentino makes his point.
Okay,
my
Judge.
point was gonna be to Mr. Hardballa. I spoke with the complaining victim yesterday. I would dismiss assault, bodily harm, less than murder. Your client could plead to ADW, sentence agreement to 2 years probation, anger management, no contact with the complaining victim, anger management, the long session, and any COBs with respect to jail or no jail that you could work out with the judge.
And my client understands that. Mr. Speller, are you listening?
Yes, sir.
All right, the prosecutor has said that he's going to
Why don't you call him?
put him in.
Yeah,
us
here,
in a breakout
Diane,
room.
Diane, hold on.
Yes, Judge.
Just send Hardballa and his client to a breakout room.
Okay.
Thank
Do
you,
we
Judge.
have non-jailers, Francesca, that we can deal with?
Yes, Judge, we can.
All right.
Judge, the court can call people.
Okay, so how many of you guys, like, tell me in the chat if you've seen Judge Coretti before and if you're a fan, because I'm a fan. And I don't think the defendant disappeared. I thought the defendant was the guy at the top middle. I could be wrong because I was definitely listening to the arguments between the lawyers more than I was watching the screen, but I don't know. And let me see. Okay, so somebody put Diane. Diane has to be the most underpaid. I don't know. Like, I feel like Diane needs a raise. It could be the bottom. Wait, bottom right is a counsel, but I think that there was a bottom right on there before who was calling, and I'm actually not sure. Hopefully someone in the chat is more observant and can tell. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think Judge is grumpy and he gets to the point. Once he's made up his mind, he gets right to it. And so let's continue. Center, far right. Okay, I thought that guy said it's counsel for somebody, but let's just play and then somebody smart will figure it out.
Versus Johnson, time and date for pretrial.
Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of the people, time and date set for pretrial.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Jackson going to bring on behalf of the defendant, Alan Johnson.
Judge, I've had an opportunity to discuss the matter with Mr. Goodman. We're working towards a resolution. I think we need one more date, though. I relayed a offer. We don't have the paperwork prepared anyway, and I think he wants to talk to his client.
That's correct.
All right, that's fine. Madam Clerk?
February 9th at 9:30.
That works.
Also,
Judge, the court can call
Francesca,
people versus Golofsky, time and date for pretrial.
he's got an octave for her too.
Judge, working on a resolution, Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of the people, working on a resolution. I made an offer, a tentative offer. I think Mr. Goodman would like to talk to his client on this one as well.
Jackson Goodman on behalf of the defendant. That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, why don't you give them the same date, Francesca?
February 9th at 9:30. Judge, the
Thank-
court Call People versus Smith, time and date for pretrial.
Okay,
Anthony
fair.
Sorrentino
You win.
here on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Darren Canfor on behalf of Mr. Smith.
Okay, go ahead.
Looking for a pretrial, and as long as Your Honor agrees, I think we tentatively picked out a great date of February 15th.
That's fine.
February
That's correct,
15th.
Judge. My client would wants me to request if you consider removing the tether in this case. He's showed up for all his hearings. We have a tentative plea worked out. We expect to enter it on the 15th.
Who put the tether on him, district court or myself?
I believe it was district court, Judge.
What
Macomb
company
County,
is he
Michigan.
on tether with?
Not sure the city. I'm bad at geography.
Mr.
Sir?
Smith, can you tell what company it's with?
Looks like Mr. Smith lost connection. He did check in. Judge, I can look
Yeah,
it
he
up.
said he was having a connection issue.
Well, he's not even on Zoom, so I'm not going to address your motion. Next case.
Okay.
That's why I
Thank you.
left these in because judge
Judge,
is
the
just
court
like,
can call
nah.
People versus
forget it.
Bacon,
I'm not
time and
gonna
date
deal
for
with it.
pretrial. I am not sure if the defendant is present as she previously was on Zoom and left Zoom.
Judge, I need to address Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of people. I'd like to address bond at the appropriate time, and I need to make a few remarks for the record.
Your morning, Your Honor.
Is that the number in the lower right corner?
I'm here.
Who do we have on
State your
Zoom?
name.
Miss Bacon?
All right, go ahead, Ms. Sorrentino.
So, prior to
Okay, so this is the one where this is the one who these are the people that were talking in the beginning. Sorrentino, the lady on the phone who doesn't have a camera. That was the defendant prosecutor duo that was going back and forth in the beginning. And if you got here late and you didn't see that part, definitely at the end or after this is over, or I mean, whatever, you can do it now if you want. Go back and watch it because I don't remember like prosecutors and defendants having a back and forth like that directly. This is the only time I've ever seen that. And granted, I haven't watched as much court as probably a lot of you have, but I don't know. I found it like super interesting. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet and push play.
the court this morning, I discussed the matter with Mr. Noonan, counsel for Ms. Bacon, regarding trying to resolve the case. However, when I logged on this morning, Ms. Bacon was asking about not wanting to be visible, and if the court could somehow take this, I guess, offline, if you will, because I believe it's her ex-husband is watching the court proceedings. I advised her that that's not possible. Court's an open forum. She also asked me whether or not I had communications with her ex-husband, and I answered, yes, I have, because I have. Mr. Noonan was present for all of these conversations. There was no discussion about her case. I just wanted to put on the record that did occur this morning. Obviously, she has counsel. Mr. Noonan was present and he agreed that the conversation we had, there was nothing inappropriate about that. With respect to bond, I will address that when you want me to. We're looking for new dates. We're going to meet up next week.
I mean, that was a lot of talking and fast explaining. Like, I mean, I think he was sweating. I think he was sweating a little bit. But he's a feisty one, as is the judge. So
in the next couple of weeks and go over Ms. Bacon's criminal history, so that I can't send lien, Judge. It's illegal for me to provide lien, but I can let an attorney review it as long as I'm present. That's what we were going to do.
okay, I don't know what that is. Yeah, I know. Avix, look at his face, the judge's face. His face always looks like that. It's great. But I don't know what lean is. Is that like lean, like, I don't know. Let me know if you know. Yeah, he was nasty. I mean, I wasn't a fan of her either. But you're a lawyer. You probably know whether or not it was crossed the line.
I have the guidelines tentatively scored at either 7 to 23 or 10 to 23. I'm guessing short of a trial that Mr. Noonan would be asking for some type of Cobb's evaluation. I think in addition, he was going to send me a deviation. Is that correct, Mr. Noonan?
I sent you, there's two cases, as you know. I sent you one of the deviations this morning, and that for the case with the blood alcohol level of 0.00. And the other one should be coming shortly, but I'm hoping to trigger a discussion with you when we meet. So that's the
Was that
purpose
the one
mainly
she
of
was
the.
positive? So I didn't have an opportunity to review that, obviously, Judge. Was that the one she was positive for methamphetamine that she was driving on? Which
Well,
case?
it's not clear. I've got a positive.
Is that 1405, Mr. Noonan?
It's 22-003660, Your Honor.
That's not the case number, counsel. Are you talking about our file 22-1405?
I don't know, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
How about this? Is it the one older in time or newer in time?
Newer in time.
So
Well, they're
that,
filed at the same time. You talking about the date?
correct, Judge, the when they occurred. So
1404 occurred in March of 2022. The other one's from 2021. Is that
I'm
the one
sorry.
you're talking about?
We're talking about 1404, Your Honor.
All right, and that was a zero blood alcohol. But you're saying, Mr. Sorrentino, positive for methamphetamine?
I'll have to look. I mean, she's got a lot of cases. You have to give me a moment.
What was the blood alcohol
Just
on
toss that in
1405?
there. I love it.
0.04, Your Honor. 0.047, I believe. And the police report omitted that when she was traveling on 94 at 36 miles an hour, she was going through a construction zone. So I think that is a fact that should be pointed out to the court.
Okay, but was it
So
an
you need a
active
new date to
construction
work
zone,
on
or
your
was it
plea
like at night when it
negotiations.
was all
That's
closed?
fine, Madam Clerk.
March 8th at 9:30.
Judge, can I address bond?
Of course you can, Mr. Sorrentino.
Mhm.
So I have a report from the Department of Health and Human Services, St. Clair. It's indicating that she was positive for methamphetamine on December 8th, 2022, and positive for THC on 12/15/2022. I'm assuming that she's not, well, methamphetamine's illegal. I'm assuming she's not supposed to be smoking marijuana either. Based on just this slew of cases and drunk drivings and absolute disregard for the court, I'm asking for her bond to be revoked at this time.
Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Noonan.
Your Honor, there's a couple of areas of dispute that are unresolved. One of which is they seem to be suggesting that because she has a past criminal history, that means she must have committed these crimes. We're not in agreement, Your Honor, at this point.
Positive for methamphetamine and marijuana. That's all I'm suggesting.
All right. Well, if that's what you're suggesting, I will respond to both of them. The meth, I will tell you, I have been retained by people in and out of Michigan. I've received at least 10 to 15 calls from people of all walks of life over the years complaining about false positive tests, whether it's AverHealth, whether it was forensic fluids, or whether it's the new company. My client has never done meth. She's adamant about that. She'll submit any air tests or anything else that the court would like to confirm that test is false. As for the marijuana, I'm not sure if she has a card or not, or whether
Well, ask her, Mr. Noonan.
Ms. Bacon, do you have a marijuana card?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, she doesn't have a marijuana card, Your Honor. But it is a legal substance. She's already taken a test recently through the St. Clair County courts, ordered by the judge, because the judge believes there may be an issue with the reliability of these tests. So
What,
we think
on a family case, Mr. Noonan?
it's a CPS case that I think.
So Judge, I talked to the juvenile division. In 2001, DHHS had issues with their drug testing. In 2002, they changed the facility and have had no issue since under their new testing system and facility that DHHS has instituted. These are not the same as before, like on other cases when we're dealing with the blood results for marijuana that were going to the Michigan State Lab for forensic science. If you recall, late last year, there had been an issue. It's my understanding DHHS uses a separate facility altogether.
All right, I thank you for that information, Mr. Sorrentino.
You're up.
Mr. Noonan, how was it that the district court set her bond at 5,000 personal when these are, I believe, her fifth and sixth operating while intoxicated cases?
Well, I think that's where we're not quite in agreement. Just pulling her record, Your Honor, we only see one drunk driving, and I'm hoping that when I meet with Mr. Sorrentino, he can clarify that. But the iChat shows simply one, and again, you know, the fact that there hasn't been any issue since 2002, that's not consistent with all the phone calls I received. And if you just Google AberHealth, Your Honor, you will see that a whistleblower, now maybe she's exaggerating, she claims that up to 30% of AberHealth's tests were false positive. 30%. That's a huge number. So it is a real problem.
Okay, first of all, I thought I screened through this to make sure I didn't like have any doxing things came up, but whatever. I thought this was really interesting about the whole testing and the false positives and things like that. It's not something that I hear like I'll hear arguments about like, oh, it was a false positive, this or that, but I've never heard it like fleshed out this well. I mean, he might convince me.
What bond conditions were set with respect to her personal bond?
Judge, if I may,
Yes.
file ending in 1404 has no bond conditions. File ending in 1405 has only a bond condition of SoberLink testing 3 times a day.
So she's on the SoberLink?
Yeah.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my understanding, yes.
Well, that doesn't test for drugs, I don't believe.
I know it doesn't. Was that from the district court?
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Noonan?
Yes, Your Honor, yes.
All right, so on closed files, I'm gonna add a bond condition. She's to test twice monthly randomly with the TAP facility, the 6-panel drug test. And did we get a new date yet, Francesca?
Judge, new date would be March 8th at 9:30.
Thank you.
Very good.
And then she has to
All right.
test, what, 24 hours from today, or test today?
Yeah, she's to test today and then twice monthly going forward.
Okay.
Could I say something?
What?
I wouldn't.
I'm sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so for my second DUI, I was positive for benzodiazepines, not amphetamines. And the benzodiazepines that I was positive for were within the range for me to take them as directed.
All right, well,
I
those are
got
all
it.
things your attorney can discuss with Mr. Sorrentino. This hearing's concluded. Next case, Francesca.
Recalling People versus Speller.
Yeah, I love how he's just like, okay, we're done, moving on. He Shalom, exactly. This is his vibe. And I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad at all. But if you think he's like he's got the get off Milan now, wait until the last wait until the last whatever it's called on this call.
What case, Madam Clerk? I'm sorry.
Recalling People versus Speller.
Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of people.
Again, Judge Adele Haradwala on behalf of Mr. Speller, who's joining us by jail, who's joining
love
us
this
by
guy.
Zoom. Your Honor, we are ready to plead no contest to, as provided by the prosecutor, to the charge of ADW with the probationary agreement. Your Honor, the reason for the no contest is that, as the court has noted while reading the exam transcript, everybody was highly inebriated, including my client, with both alcohol and marijuana, and his memory is less than sketchy.
Okay, I really like this defense attorney, but I'm not as sure about his style. Like the first one where he went and he was reading, like literally reading aloud the police report saying she choked, I was choked, I was strangled, marijuana. Yeah, that was pretty classic. And I feel like he's a Michigan lawyer. He's got to be around these Zoom courts more often. You guys had to have seen him. I mean, he's just, yes, this is the sketchy memory. My client was so wasted he doesn't remember, Your Honor. Let's see how it turns out.
Judge, we
very
don't have
good.
the paperwork, but I highly suggest we do this today, and I'm sure Mr. Hardvala will get it back to me when I send it to him.
Absolutely, within 10 minutes.
That'll be fine. Swear the defendant, Madam Clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth?
So it
nothing but the
was
truth, so
the
help you
wrong
God?
defendant.
I do.
All right, sir,
Or
state
yes.
your name.
Desmond E. Speller.
You understand all the rights your attorney has explained to you in connection with this, please, sir?
Yes, Mr. Coretti. He explained it to me on my breakout room with him.
It's Judge Coretti, sir, not Mr.
Oh.
Coretti.
Oh, sorry, Judge Coretti.
All right, it's my understanding, sir, you wish to plead guilty to the charge of assault with a dangerous weapon. Is that right?
No contest,
contest.
Judge.
That's correct. No contest. And the reason for the no contest?
Your Honor, it is because my client was seriously inebriated and has no
Lack of
memory.
memory.
Yep, that's what you said. That's fine. You're pleading no contest to that charge, correct, sir?
Yes, you Judge.
Do you understand the maximum penalty may receive is up to 4 years in prison?
Yes, Judge.
Do you understand the plea bargain agreement, sir?
Yes, Judge.
You're pleading no contest to that charge, correct?
Yes, Judge.
In return, the prosecutor is willing to dismiss count 1, correct?
Yes.
Is that the complete plea bargain agreement?
Yes.
Is
Yes,
everything you
does.
expect from the plea bargain agreement set forth on the record, sir?
Yes.
Are you accepting a plea bargain agreement of your own free will and choice?
Yes.
Have there been any promises or threats to get you to plead no contest today?
No.
Do you understand you will not at a later date be able to claim there were promises or threats that caused you to plead no contest today?
Right. Yes.
Have there been any such promises or threats, Mr. Sorrentino?
No, Judge.
Mr. Hardvala?
None, Your Honor.
All right, how do you propose to establish factual basis, Mr. Sorrentino?
Judge, the parties will stipulate to a set of facts that the people will set forth on the record.
Go ahead.
On or about October 12th, 2022, in the city of Warren, county of Macomb, the defendant was located at 26684 Ryan, apartment number 7. At that time, he assaulted a Teresa Smith, the complaining victim in this matter, with a knife. He pointed the knife at Miss Smith and indicated that he was going to kill her. In addition, he also choked her.
No, this is the same case. It was the defendant we were talking about earlier.
Mr. Hardball.
I'm satisfied, Judge.
Satisfied, Judge.
Has the court, okay, you both agree the court's complied with the court rule?
That's why maybe somebody said they were a little bit lost, is that that was the case they were talking about with the steak knife and the strangulation and all of that. And then judge said, put him in a breakout room. So I guess they went to a breakout room, came back. Wait, am I muted or something? What are those symbols? Affix. Yeah, they let him plead. Well, they let him plead no contest because he was too wasted to have any memory, which if you want to plead no contest, that's one way to get them to kind of let you do it, because you can't explain why you were guilty, which is required if you're pleading guilty. You can't explain why you did what you did if you're saying, yeah, like, Your Honor, I did it. I just don't remember. So, oh, you're trying to point up somebody's comment. Okay, all right, just checking. I mean, I'm gonna always assume it's technology, but okay, let's finish.
Mr. Speller, to the charge of assault with a dangerous weapon, how do you plead?
No contest, Your Honor.
Court will accept the plea of no contest, refer to probation. I'll set sentencing for
March 21st at 9:30.
Judge, just one thing for the record, since we were in a breakout room, there's a sentence agreement to 2 years probation, anger management, long program, and no contact with the complaining victim.
That is all
Okay.
correct, Judge.
And Mr. Speller, you understand that your attorneys negotiated that sentence agreement with the prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
That seems like a really good deal based on what the police report said. No jail time. But I mean, probation's no cakewalk, so.
Mr. Speller,
Anything else, Mr. Hardball?
Nothing at this time, Judge.
Okay.
Mr. Speller, you're all set. You can exit and grab the deputy.
So I'll come back to court March 21st.
Correct.
And on that day, the case will be over.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Deputy, can I have Young, please?
Somewhere in another courtroom, right?
Young. Yes, he's on his way. Good morning. Morning, Your Honor.
Judge, the court
She's a
can call
beautiful
People
girl, though.
versus Young, time and date for pretrial.
Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of the people. Time and date set for pre-trial.
That's also a fair point.
My name is Craig Tank, and I appear on behalf of Mr. Young.
Judge, Mr. Tank and I haven't really worked this out yet. I think we anticipate doing that. However, I've been unable to get in touch with the officer in charge. There were some problems with the Warren Police Department's phone systems in the past week or so, where it was just going straight to busy. But I anticipate some type of resolution. Is that fair to say, Mr. Tank?
I think that is very fair to say.
Okay, we need a new date.
Madam Clerk?
February 14th at 9:30.
Will you call me before then, Mr.
Complainant,
Tank?
not plaintiff.
And
I absolutely will.
Okay, and I'll figure something out.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're alleged
Mr. Young, you may exit and grab the deputy. Judge, we have 2 pickups. Mr. Jungle was called into another courtroom. He's on the record right now, and Judge Gotti.
Was that
All right,
February?
let me know when we're available for those.
Okay. What, Anthony?
Was Young February 14th?
Yes.
Okay.
Deputy, we'll do Randall first, and then right after that, we'll do Two Top. But it'll be a minute. The attorney got called to another courtroom.
Okay.
All right.
You ready for him right now? You ready for Randall right now?
No, I don't want to make him stand.
Hey,
He's on the
Stephanie.
record in Gotti right now, so it should be done in just a second.
Oh, okay.
But I don't want to make him wait.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Probably should have cut this out, but I haven't fixed the problem of when I edit something, not being able to pull it up for a stream. So let me try to fix it. Drag ahead. Okay, we're at 35:33. 35, 36, 37, 38.
January.
Shoot, too far. 37. Oh. All right, here we go.
Francesca,
People versus Randall, time and date for a pickup on a probation violation warrant.
Anthony Sorrentino on behalf of the people.
Timothy Ng on behalf of Mr. Randall for purposes of arraignment, Your Honor.
Okay, give me a moment. Have you advised your client of the nature of the warrant, counsel?
I have, Your Honor. My client would stand mute. We ask the court enter a not guilty plea and we'd waive formal reading.
All right, court will enter a plea of not guilty. I'll set the matter for hearing on,
January 26th at 9:30.
all right, you want to be heard as to bond, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, look, it appears that the bulk of the violation is for getting charged with carrying a concealed weapon in Detroit. However, I was able to confirm with an online search that case was dismissed on January 17th. The other allegation is that he has not completed the impulse control class. He stated that he does have a job. He is doing his GED online. We'd be asking for a personal bond, allow him to get out to continue to work on the GED as well as to start his impulse control class.
When you received a copy of this warrant on January 3rd, sir, why didn't you turn yourself in?
Night, Jonathan. Oh, never mind.
Do you hear me, Mr. Randall?
Excuse me, what you say?
Why, were you not paying attention?
He's in rare
I
form
thought you
today,
was
Michael.
Talking to him. What was
A
that?
copy of this warrant was mailed to you on January 3rd. You would have received it a couple days later. Why didn't you turn yourself in on the warrant? Were you in custody of the Detroit Police Department?
Yes, sir. I was incarcerated on January 1st.
Have you been in jail since January 1st?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Allie, I'll talk about it in a minute.
2018.
All right, I'll grant your request. Or Mr. Sorrentino, you want to be heard?
Judge, I'll leave the discretion of the court.
All right, I'll grant your request given the dismissal of the other charge. I'll set your bond at 5,000 personal, sir. Make sure you're back here on your court date. Although, would we prefer a later date, Francesca?
I would, since it would be a personal bond, Judge.
Okay. Will your client willing to waive his right to a hearing within 14 days, counsel?
Mr. Randall, are you willing to come back at a later date? You have a right within 14 days, but you'll be out. So the judge is asking to push it off for a later date. You'll still have the hearing. It'll just be later.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh, the
That's
hearing will be now February 9th at 9:30. And Mr. Randall, it's via Zoom.
Okay.
Okay?
I like the crankiness.
Okay.
You're all set, so just grab the deputy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, sir.
Ta-da!
Can I have 2 top, please?
Hey, okay, so Allie B, in Tennessee, you were asking about an update on Kitch. I do know that she filed her appeal I think it was last night. It got denied, unfortunately, but I've been talking to her. She's working hard and she's got a plan. So just prepare for her to be back. Okay. And I will keep you posted on any details that I can share. But for now, keep her in your thoughts. Hey, Chada, glad you're here. Did I say that or did I just think it out loud in my head? Hey, Prissy. Do people, Stephanie, that's a good question. I think that in a lot of ways it became a really efficient way to do some things, but I mean, there's a whole faction of judges and lawyers who are against it, because I mean, I guess like who'd want to be like online live every day for everybody to see and analyze your mistakes? But also, I think that society needs to have some confidence in the justice system, and I think that people having a window into the courts like this, like not just the high profile cases, like the business, but like these real cases with like real people who, I mean, I don't know. I obviously am a fan. I want court to stay public and on Zoom, even more so. And I don't think that when judges or lawyers make mistakes that they should be, I don't know, like in big trouble or like canceled over it or whatever, because like people are going to make mistakes. And I don't know. I like when judges show that they're real people, and that's all. Okay. Now I'm going to keep going. Oh yeah, GMK Street Lawyer. Are you an actual lawyer? I just assumed that you were earlier, and I don't know if you heard my question, but I'm going to keep playing. I think we're getting to the hearing that, yeah, this should be the hearing where it gets really good. I mean, doesn't really get, I don't know, whatever. I'm just going to play it and shut up.
Judge, the court can call People versus Toutant, time and date for a probation violation warrant. It is a pickup.
Your appearance, counsel?
Anthony
Timothy
Sorrentino.
Timothy on behalf of the defendant for purposes of arraignment, Your Honor.
All right, you apprised your client of the nature of the warrant.
I did, Your Honor. We'd waive formal reading. My client will stand mute. We ask the court to enter a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Court will do so. You want to be heard as to bond?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client is working. He lives with his wife and 2 children. He stated that he was calling his probation officer. His probation officer was unsure as to where he was supposed to be testing. That is why he was not testing. We'd be
How
asking
could he
for
be unsure when I ordered that he test with TAP? And it was on the record, he heard it, and he would have been given that direction at the time of sentencing. And I'm sure his probation officer didn't say that. They were well aware where he was supposed to test.
That is the information.
I do have it in text.
I didn't hear you, sir. What?
I do have it all on text. I promise you, I was getting a hold of her trying to find out what I was supposed to do. All that.
Who's your probation officer? Jennifer
Miss
Miller? Is that who
Yes.
you were texting with?
Yes.
All right, Diane.
Yes, Judge.
See if you can get Jennifer Miller from probation on Zoom. If not, try and get Miss Black. Francesca, let me know when they're on. We'll pass for a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, the resolution to this is it's a second video. It's about 7 minutes long. Yeah, but I mean, I hear defendants say, oh, well, my probation officer told me this, my probation officer told me that. I just love that Judge Coretti's immediately like, all right, get the probation officer on the phone. Let's do it. Let's see if he's telling the truth or not. But yeah, Diane and Francesca, they both need a raise. And I feel like Judge Coretti is a little bit in like rare form in this hearing. They're usually not all this interesting, like all in a row. You usually have to watch a couple. All right, I'm pulling it up while I'm trying to talk, which is, it's hard for me to multitask because I get distracted. But I do have a link that I will share with you after I get this pulled up. That if you're not a member of the channel and you want to join, I do have a link that you can click on if you're on mobile and it's not showing you the join button. But like no pressure, you don't have to. But if you want to be a member for 99 cents a month, you can have extra access to the live streams because I make them private pretty quickly afterwards. I've been making it unlisted because I didn't have a good way to share with the people on mobile. And I mean, whatever. I don't want like a lot of stuff behind a paywall, but I do have the link. Okay. I'm going to stop. Let me get this link before I start to panic. Okay. Okay, here it is. Number 2, part 2. It's 7 minutes long. And he absolutely.
So
gets
recalling, is it
officer
2
on
times?
the phone.
Yes,
Clerk?
Judge.
And there she is, right down there at the bottom. And let me know what you think. Do you think that the guy on top is telling the truth? I don't know.
So Agent Miller, you've joined us. Thank you for coming on Zoom. The defendant basically has said the reason he was violated for not testing, or his excuse for not testing, is that he was in constant communication with you and you didn't know where he was supposed to test. Is that true?
Not entirely, sir. When I read his order, it looked as though he was ordered to continue testing, so he should have known that he was supposed to test.
Okay, but that wasn't a no, which I was really surprised that it just wasn't a flat out no.
But when I asked him if he was testing, he said no, and he didn't know anything about it. And so I didn't know that the court had already did the referral. So I was going to do the referral, but I ended up getting COVID. So I got behind in my work. So that was my issue. But when I asked him initially if he knew that he was supposed to test, he said no.
Well, he did know he was supposed to test. I ordered him to test, and I ordered him to test at the TAP facility, which actually is on the judgment of sentence. Did you not see that, Agent Miller?
I saw it, and I asked him if he was testing, and he said no, that he didn't know he was supposed to. And I was confused, but like I said, I ended up getting COVID, so I got behind.
All right, and did you let him know that you had requested a warrant for his failure to test?
Yes, I told him that you had requested that I do the warrant for his failure to test.
Correct. And you, sir, having known you were supposed to test and being told there was a warrant, you still didn't turn yourself in? You waited to get picked up?
I have text showing that I asked, what am I supposed to do? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I found out I had the warrant when I got pulled over. And I didn't say I didn't know I wasn't supposed to be testing. I said I didn't know which place I was supposed to be going to or
You
what I
still
was
live
doing.
on, you still live on Nagel Street, Mr. Toucan?
Yes, sir.
Well, you would have got a copy of the warrant around January 1st. Why didn't you turn yourself in when you saw that in your mail?
I did not receive that.
So yours is the 1 in a million case where the United States Postal Service lost the mail?
I mean, it may not be them. I mean, it could have been anybody in my house, but I did not receive it.
All
And
right.
I did ask her, what am I supposed to do? When right the day after I found out I had the warrant, I called or I messaged her and asked, what am I supposed to do?
Do you have those texts by chance, Agent Miller?
Yes, but I don't know how to get to them.
A likely story. She doesn't know how
You
to
don't know
get
how to
to
look up
them.
text on your phone?
Well, I'm on my phone talking to you now, so I don't know. If
So
I'm
just go
gonna
to your
do-
text messages and look under his name.
Okay.
I love it. I mean, it's not just he's cranky towards the defendant, but he's going to be cranky towards the prosecutor, towards the probation officer, towards anybody that he needs to be cranky towards in order to get to the bottom of whatever the issue is. And from what I've seen so far, Judge Caretti's tough but fair. If he's not, I haven't seen it. I should have edited this, but also think about the prosecutor who's probably not prosecutor, the probation officer who's judge asked to see the text. You know she is sweating right now. I don't think she wants to show him the text because I think that there is some truth to what this guy's saying, regardless of whether he should have known or not. If she can't produce the texts, I don't know what judge is going to do.
Ms. Miller?
Yeah, he's not.
Judge, I believe she lost connection. She's rejoining.
Isn't she Jennifer on the Zoom screen?
Yeah.
All right, any luck, Ms. Miller?
She's stalling. Right? Fix her. It didn't happen.
Can you hear
Evidence.
me,
This
Agent
is
Miller?
Judge, her screen says she's still connecting to audio.
I see that actually.
Stalling. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. When her answer immediately wasn't just a flat out no, that's when I started having my doubts. And I actually don't know what the burden of proof is in these type of hearings or this type of hearing.
All right, I'm gonna set your bond, sir, at 5,000 personal, given the level, the minor level of confusion with your probation agent.
Raven.
You're to test today if you get out in time, if not tomorrow. And that's with the TAP facility. And you're to follow the condition of probation with respect to that. We're going to set a hearing date since I'm giving you a personal bond, sir. Are you willing to waive your right to a hearing within 14 days?
Yeah.
All right, Madam Clerk, date,
February 14th at 9:30.
and we'll
Valentine's Day, and I didn't
refer
get it.
to the defender for the appointment of counsel. Diane,
Love it.
Yes, Judge.
call Agent Miller and thank her for appearing and tell her what we did.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Tutot, February 14th at 9:30 via Zoom.
Okay, so I feel like I do remember trying to get the resolution of this on Valentine's Day, and I didn't get it. But I do remember checking. But like, okay, so ultimately in this case, I think the judge did the right thing here. There, like he said, there was a minor level of confusion, so he gave him personal bond. But at the same time, he's not just letting him off scot-free. It's like, if you get out today, you're testing. If it's too late today, you're testing tomorrow, and I want to see you back here, within a week or two or whatever it was. And at the same time, I really respect and appreciate how he is. He's keeping the probation officers in his court accountable. Because I have a feeling that, she got pulled into this courtroom and questioned by the judge and was asked about her text communications. I can promise you that she's going to think twice before she, maybe blows off a defendant or isn't clear in what she's saying. And I don't know. I really appreciated it. I don't, I think, Chada, that's a good question. Whether or not they have to pay out of pocket for testing. I feel like a lot of the courts in Michigan, you have to, so I'm assuming that it would be the same across the state. But at the same time, also, I feel like if you're, excuse me, indigent or something, that the court might be able to declare that you don't have to pay, or that like maybe it's on a sliding scale. I'm not really sure. Yeah, okay. Old Squishy Gardner says, yep. I'm not sure if he's talking about what I was saying because there's a delay, but yeah, that's what I had for you guys tonight. As far as cases go, I have been working on a video for quite a while that I'm going to either just release or premiere sometime tomorrow morning. I'm going to finish it up tonight. I will put it out on Discord, which I will share the link to the Discord right now again, if you guys want to join. But I'll let you guys know on Discord, and maybe even a community post what time I'm going to do that. But that's what I'm going to do tonight. Thank you guys for coming and watching court with me when I should be in bed. I'm exhausted. It's been a long day. I know a lot of you are out there watching the Shabusiness case. So those of you that are, get some rest, take care of yourself. I know it's a lot, and I will see you tomorrow in court. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like and subscribe. I always forget that part. Like and subscribe, and hopefully that link works for people. This one. Oh wait, never mind. It's not a big deal. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you guys in court. Bye.